Hi, gang. Well, disappointing loss against Chelsea. Um, Not surprised. Not really surprised. As soon as I saw the lineup was a 3-4-3, I was like, no, this is not gonna be good. Um, uh, I think we were all expecting a 3-5-2. Um, Against Chelsea, you've got to have three in the middle. Um, Having Skip and Holberg just there in the middle, you're just really you're killing you're killing the actual. We're a team that's really good at breaking out and counter attacking. So we should be clogging up the middle, fighting for balls in the middle, and then springing on to the defense. We need quick, fast reactions when we get the ball. We can't play with two in the middle against a team like Chelsea. You're gonna need you're gonna need a 3-5-2. You got we don't have the greatest defenders, but we have three defenders together, Dyer, Sanchez, and Davis. When they play together, they play pretty well. But they only play well if they have. I don't think Skip and Holberg's good enough. Or it's a lot to ask even from a top quality uh, midfielder, defensive midfielders to try and create. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And to also try and defend, only two of them defending against Chelsea's quality in their midfield. It's hard. We needed the third man, and we desperately need that creative midfielder. We are not going anywhere without one. It's it's time for Levy to get that. You know, they've owned Tottenham for 20 years. Okay, they bought Tottenham for 70 million. Okay, Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy, right? Joe Lewis with the most. If they if they invested just one time, put in 200 million, okay, into this window and the next window. Just give Conte and Paradovic give them 200 million to spend, okay? Because it's their last. Like the fans are going to turn badly against against the inner working of Enoch. It's just going to be bad. Right now we're just a team that can this team can get top four under Conte if we don't get anyone in January, and the only way that would happen if we play a three-man midfield with a 3-5-2, and we could skip and maybe get a little bit lucky and catch fourth. But we desperately need a creative midfielder. Okay, right now we're a team that can only score pretty much when we catch somebody off in the back or in their midfield, and then we explode on them. We have a great counter-attacking ability in this side. It's kind of they're so used to just reacting and going forward from mistakes. They can't create when they have the ball. Tottenham cannot at the moment cannot create goals when they have the ball. They have to force an error and have a team's midfield and defense disjointed. Once that happens, they get a goal. But when you come up against Chelsea and Man City and Liverpool and teams like, it's just, you're not going to dominate. You're not going to, you know, you got, all you can get out of these games is scrappy mistakes like we did against Liverpool. Um, but yeah, it's tough. We'll find out this January if Levy for once will just for once out of 20 years. I mean, like I kind of skipped there. He bought Enoch bought Tottenham for 70 million. If they sold it right now, they'd get about 2.5 billion. Okay, they're gonna make when they look back on it. Say if they sold it right now, 20 years, right? I know they got 400 or 500 million on loans and stuff for the stadium, but if they sold it right now, they would make a $2 billion profit, pounds profit. Okay, that represents each year they've been here £100 million of profit each year they've made out of Tottenham. Why can't they just say, "Hey, we're going to pay back 2 years of that and give the club 200 out of our pocket because they can spend up to 400 million with uh, financial fair play. So just fucking do it. Just for once, give the money. You've got the manager. You've got a manager we should not have. Okay, he is better. He should be not at Tottenham. We are not good enough to have Conte. Okay, he knows it. He knows that there must have been some deal happen for him to come back. And I think in his press conference, he kind of, he said something to remind Levy, time to pay the piper. So he's got to back Conte, because if Conte goes without any help in January, he's going to lose his enthusiasm on the sideline, and then he probably won't be with us next season. So everything relies on Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy. If they don't back this club, man, all you supporters that live in London, you have to protest in huge numbers. You've got to do something. I was brought up in London and raised in London. I went to the games in the 80s. I can't come and protest. I'm in America right now. So please, the fans that live in London that go to the games, I love you. You've kept us. You've got us a stadium. But please, you've got to put the hurt onto Daniel Levy, not physically, but no, by culturally and by spiritually, by protesting with huge numbers. If they don't back this Conte, because we're running out of managers. We're running out of managers that will want to come here. Okay? Nuno was an 8th or 7th pick. What are we going to get after Conte? What? I mean, who? I mean, some young manager? I mean, no, we're a big club now and we've got to act like it. So, Levy, do the right thing for once in your life. You have the money. Between you and Joe Lewis have the money, and you're allowed to spend a lot, because we haven't been spending much. So financial fair play, I think it's 400 million we're allowed to spend. I could be wrong. I read it, but I'm getting old. I'm 50 now, but memorizing things from day to day is hard. But I'm sure we have 400 million if we wanted to spend it in this window and the summer window. So I'm only asking for 200 million. I mean, please, 200 million. We could, with what we got now, with Son, Kane, Lloris, potential with Reguilon to be a big star, and Skip coming in to be a great CDM. We just need those pieces that we're missing. And number one for me this January, creative midfielder. Right now, we just have to hope that Kane and Son don't get injured. We get a striker. What's he going to do? Lump him up top there? We need someone to create from the middle when we have the ball. When we have the ball, we need a creator. And that's what we're lacking hugely. That would be my number one suggestion. Good night. We'll get over this loss. We're probably not going to make the final. You never know. We could have an Ajax moment next week, and get an early goal, tie it up by half time, and then we sneak one, or maybe it'd be a 4-3 game, in aggregate. But, you never know. You just never know. But, all right, good night. Coys forever.